when he and I got together, we had that conversation about labels because I felt ready to be called boyfriend and girlfriend. And he goes, being in my 40s, I feel like I'm a little old to be called somebody's boyfriend. But if you call me your man friend, it sounds like I'm not allowed near playgrounds. I was like, all right, well, what are you going to call me? And he goes, I'll just be like, this is my lady. And I was like, well, we're not at a Renaissance fair. So, no. Also, I can't use the equivalent of that. I can't be like, Mom, Dad, I'd like you to meet my lord. And he's also a comedian. My ex-husband was actually a comedian, too. I can't stop shitting where I eat. No, I didn't tell you. My love life is a Chipotle. Just keep the eating and shitting all under one roof. It's very convenient, very farm to table, you know. They're right there. And I wasn't much of a jealous girlfriend in my 20s, but then some switch flipped in my 30s. And now when I see somebody hit on the person I'm with, I just feel myself anamorph into the cast of Jersey Shore. I am ready to brawl. And he does get hit on. When he walks on stage, women whistle at him. And at comedy clubs, there's usually a security guard in the back to kick people out in case they heckle. So at his shows, I've just started to stand next to the security guard. And if I see a woman laughing too hard at one of his jokes, I just walk up and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. He's my favorite comedian. Well, he's my lord. Scoot, beat it. I feel like most people assume I'm exaggerating during that joke, but if you follow me online, you'll know I posted a video a few months ago of a woman who sat in the front row of one of my shows, and after I told that joke, she goes, your boyfriend is my favorite comedian. We've seen him like 8 times. And I was like, lady, did you not just hear that this is when I go snooky on somebody? What are you doing? And she doubled down. She's like, he's so cute. He's so hot. And he responds to my Instagram comments. And that's when I took out my hoop earrings. All the men in the crowd were looking around like, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. It's like, yeah, time to fuck around and find out, madam. Get up here. I don't actually worry about my boyfriend cheating on me. I feel like men's bodies start to really turn on them in their 40s. He has to wake up every 2 hours in the night to pee. And when I see him in the morning with bags under his eyes, I hug him and I go, babe, I'm sorry you didn't sleep well. And then I think, you're too exhausted to cheat on me. You're not getting enough REM to pull off 2 relationships. I like you slow like this. Can catch you if I need to. Get back here. But now the second I see him start to reach for melatonin, I'm like, the fuck are you resting up for? Huh? You stay sleepy. I don't usually mind our age gap, but there is that new filter on TikTok where couples are posting pictures together, and then a filter goes across the screen, and it shows you what you'll look like together in 50 years. Like it ages you. So I did that with a picture of me and my boyfriend, and when the filter went across the screen, it just made him disappear. It was just me holding an urn. I was like, what? No, please. And my boyfriend was like, I want to see the picture. I was like, oh, my phone died. And so did you. What am I going to do? He does hate that he looks older than me. He's been trying to get me to look older faster. I think he wants to like microwave my face. On my birthday, as a prank, he hid all of my expensive skin creams, and when I opened my bathroom cupboard, there was just a pack of cigarettes. Like a tanning bed coupon. Well, be careful what you wish for. You're gonna wake up next to Mick Jagger. I have been telling my single friends that they should date somebody older than them. It's the best. They got their lives together. They're financially secure. My boyfriend has a lake cabin. You think I give a shit that he has a fake hip? I don't. I don't need somebody to be able to jump rope to get me wet. I'm riding on a jet ski. I'm coming 5 times on that thing anyway. My boyfriend shows me his credit score while we're on the jet ski. I'm like, oh my God. Our neighbors are like, wow, look at all the water coming off that thing. I'm like, that's not water, Diane. That's all me, baby. Happy 4th. Peace be with you.
So there's a store here in Los Angeles called The Pleasure Chest. It's up on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood, and it's a lovely little place. It's an adult novelty store, a dildorium, if you will. And they have a comedy night there because, of course, they do. And they called me up and they said, do you want to do the show? And I go, sure, yeah, I'll come down. I'd love to. And I did, yeah. Now, the first thing that strikes me when I went into the Pleasure Chest was the toys don't look like what you would think they would look like. They're not anatomical at all. They used to be. Now they're just like bright orange curly cues and lime green twisty shapes. It looked like replacement limbs for an all-Muppet Veterans Hospital. My question is, who shops at that store? Doesn't everybody have the internet? I mean, again, it could be me. I'm from a very repressed upbringing, but I honestly could not just walk in that store like, with a list. Oh, yeah. Hey, are these gluten-free? You know? They're anal beads. I don't know. Which are a thing. Anal beads are a thing that we, as a people, design, mass produce, market, and sell. The American experiment is not over. There is still life in the old girl yet. Look at the competition. Russia. Ha! Russia's not even a country. It's a gas station with an army. Russia only does 2 things. It supplies the Eastern Bloc with the raw material for fossil fuels and occasionally chooses the American president. But that's all Russia does. What does China really do? It steals our intellectual property and sells it back to us at a vastly inflated price. And occasionally allows, assholes like me to have a family. But here in America, we innovate. We put a man on the moon. We invented the computer chip. We have anal beads. Specially made beads just for your anal. We didn't steal the idea from another country and sell it back at an inflated price. An American shot out of bed in the middle of the night and thought, golly, I wish there was a necklace so big it felt great being yanked out of my asshole. Nobody touch this equation. 3 a.m, Matt Damon comes in. There are 2 jobs in America with debilitating levels of stress. Air traffic controller and the person that ties the knot on that last bead. Because what you really don't want, go. Don't panic. I made chili.
I feel like I should know more about things like vasectomies because I don't know if you guys had this in high school where you could get voted, best dressed or most athletic, but I had that in middle school. And when I was in 7th grade, I got voted most likely to become a sex ed teacher. And I look back and I'm like, what was I saying to my peers? At age 12, that made them collectively go, she knows where the taint is. I should not have won that award. I knew nothing. I was such a late bloomer in every way. I didn't start my period until the last week of 8th grade, which coincided with my school's graduation trip to the lake. Yeah, buckle up. And the first time you get a period, they always tell girls, oh, don't use a tampon, wear a pad. So all my friends are in their cute little bikinis in front of the boys for the first time. I am wearing a t-shirt and giant men's and one basketball shorts. Trying to hide the outline of this massive pad, which went from belly button to middle of my back. It was like wearing a horse saddle. It's casually at the beach. And then everybody jumped in the lake, and nobody told me that you can't get in with a pad on. So I jumped in too, and that thing started dragging me to the bottom of the lake. I was like, no. My life flashed before my eyes. This thing got so heavy so fast, you could see the water level of the lake just slowly going lower and lower and lower. And I'm a terrible swimmer. I death gripped onto her front shoulder. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm bleeding and drowning, please. Help. So people flopped me up onto the dock, and I stood up, and in front of every boy in my grade, 20 gallons of water dumped out of my shorts for 40 straight seconds. Like the world's grossest magician. Oh, it's still going. Okay. Well. And that is how you don't get fingered until your senior year. True story. I feel like all the boys in my grade were like, we've heard that wet is good, but... that seems too wet. I don't think there's supposed to be fish coming out of there. Sort of weird mermaid lady. I actually got an IUD in recently because I heard that they could just make your period go away, but the procedure is a nightmare. They basically shove a Lego in your uterus while you're wide awake. I thought for sure I was gonna get knocked out for this. The doctor was like, no. I was like, okay. What do you guys do for the pain? She's like, oh, take a Tylenol, make a wish. I'm like, oh, I wish you'd go fuck yourself. If you're comfortable sharing, make some noise if you have an IUD. Oh my God. Give these women a key to the city. All right? There are Avengers sitting amongst you tonight. It is insane. But I think the thing that's maybe more traumatizing than that procedure is that when you get there, they ask you to give a urine sample. And women dread giving urine samples. For dudes, you guys just whip your dong out. You aim and fire. You could probably do it blindfolded. Women giving a urine sample is like trying to get the leash out from under the dog's leg on a walk. You're like, okay, this way, maybe this way. Well, am I going or are you going? Well, goddammit. So many legs. Because women only pee straight for 2 of the 20 seconds we pee. The rest of the time, it looks like somebody just poked a hole in a Capri Sun and then started stepping on it. You're like, well, oh, sideways? What am I peeing sideways? I don't even have a hole there. And then a doctor walks in with a thimble and is like, catch it. Catch it. I'm like, you catch it. This is a 2-man job at least. This thing is the same size as a to-go ranch container. I can't possibly catch it in this. Do you have a crock pot back there? Something with handles, a wide berth I can work with, perhaps? And a lot of the time, you don't know you're gonna have to give a urine sample, so you peed right before you left the house, and then you're in there trying to squeegee out 5 drops, but you don't have enough pressure in your stream for it to go out, so you just get a babbling brook that hugs your body and drops off a butt cheek in the back. Like, have to drop a pin on GPS to know where that fucker went. I have no idea. I can't see back there. Can't catch that. So I'm in there. I try to get a urine sample. It's a complete disaster, as always. I get nothing in the cup. I just peel over my own wrist like a child. The whole thing stressed me out so much I had explosive diarrhea. I walked out of there up to the nurse. I was like, well, didn't get a urine sample, but the cup is full. Test what you can, I guess. But it's a broken system. It's not my fault. You fix it. And then you lay back, and they do the procedure, and an IUD can stay in you for 8 years. So after they're done, the nurse hands you a sticker with a date on it of 8 years from that day, so you know when to replace it. So I just pop that on my windshield next to my oil change sticker. Where else am I gonna put that thing? I got one that says Valvoline, one that says Volvoline. I just look at just keep an eye. I told my dad about the sticker thing, and he goes, well, that's interesting. I wonder if it works the same way as a car where it goes by either the date or the mileage. I was like, shut your mouth, Dad. I mean, I'm definitely gonna use it on stage, but shut your mouth. Sicko. We're not friends. I don't want to joke with you like that. Gonna make me start an OnlyFans to keep that shit up. Shut up. That's definitely not how it works, by the way. That'd be very funny to me if they were secretly putting tiny odometers. You go in for a checkup, the doctor's like, oh, somebody had a busy April. Jesus Christ. No way this thing's lasting 8 years. You're burning the tires clean off this thing. Slow down.
And the ultimate example of we didn't know, Michael Jackson. We didn't know. And he didn't give us any signs. Who would have thought that a glow-in-the-dark skeleton who dressed like Napoleon and lived by himself in an abandoned amusement park with other people's children and a feral chimp would have such a creepy dark side? And if you get to the point in your life when you wake up one morning and think, you know, I need a chimp. You're doing too much. Chimpanzees are horrible animals. If you've ever read a newspaper story about someone who's been attacked by a chimpanzee, the wounds are always horrific. And they're always the same. Because chimpanzees are born with this thing called an attack protocol. Chimpanzees are born knowing how to kill you. The first thing a chimpanzee does when it attacks you, and I'm going to tell you, I want you to know. They say that when a bear attacks you, you're supposed to make yourself look as physically imposing as you possibly can and speak very soothingly. The trial and error that went into figuring that out is written in the blood of campers. Bear! Mersey notes and dozy notes and little emsy timey. Don't sing pop songs from the 30s. Next. But bears are so stupid. Bears think we all walk around with shit in our pants. Because everyone they've ever caught well, we're 12 for 12, you tell me. Let's just eat the top half and go find some garbage. Should we tell them we speak English? Why? So we can talk about the shit in their pants? Here's your head. The first thing a chimpanzee does when it attacks you, it breaks your jaw. So you can't bite it. Then, it chews your hands off. So you can't claw it. And then, it tears your genitals off. I guess so you won't rape it. Chimpanzees are so full of themselves, they actually think that even after they've broken your jaw, chewed off your hands, you're still going to be trying to get him into the sack. Like there are guys chasing them through the jungle. You wouldn't have chewed my hands off if you didn't want it. You wouldn't have come out of the tree if you weren't into it, lady. Yes, my jaw is broken. And my hands are chewed off. And you know what else? I'm tired of all the games. And now, I'm going to tell you all a terrible story. That happened to some children at the Neverland Ranch. Yes, I am. And when I'm done, you're going to laugh. You think that you won't, but you don't have all the information. As everyone knows, Michael Jackson had a chimp named Bubbles, and Bubbles was adorable when it was a baby, because everything is adorable when it's a baby. Rattlesnakes are adorable when they're babies. But then Bubbles grew up and became an adult male chimp, very powerful, very unpredictable, and with the potential for great physical violence. So Bubbles was put into a cage and moved off the beaten path there at the old Neverland Ranch. But Make-A-Wish kids would come to the ranch and they wanted to see Bubbles. And Bubbles would hurl his feces at them, which was not their stated wish. And what you end up with is kids in wheelchairs on grass trying to evade cannonballs of monkey shit. And I like to imagine what that must have looked like to the sound of Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. I see trees of green. Red roses too.